say a few things?
Hey Bash. Hello everybody and welcome to this qualifying session. So we actually have Jason Holden Jones that's joining us for this race. It will be his second race for the GT. The first race that he did was on the sprints, and he's joining us now today in the Division 2 for the main event. Him up into 4th place.
Last one.
No, he's almost 2 tenths down on that last sector at the moment. Well, let's see. Maybe he was able to pull something off in the last corner. Oh, okay, yeah. There we go. Very good exit. The most trickiest part, in my opinion, on this track is definitely it has to be turn 3 and turn 4. If you can just get your wheels a little bit over the inside curb, you can spin it around and land into the gravel trap, and that's the lap over for you.
For sure. He's made up a huge amount of time.
He's still 4 tenths up. There we go. A little bit scruffy on the exit there, but still kept it in his back line. Very good so far. Ooh, he lost a lot of time in that penultimate corner. Well, he's okay. So that's 0.08 up. Not enough. Let's see what he does on his. Yeah. think the car ahead of him is a little bit too far away. But let's hope he keeps it on the track and doesn't make a mistake. It seems that that penultimate corner catches out quite a few people. You can either gain or lose a lot of time by just getting that one. It is. It is, yeah. I just saw Swanepoel getting a little bit out of shape into turn 2. He's he's almost beating his delta time. Let's just see if he gets this corner right. He should be able to improve. Oh, that is a very good way. But I still think that Sky James will be able to take pole position. It's just that second last corner that catches him out all the time. Oh no. That lap's gone. So important to get a very good exit out of this last corner so that you have the straight line speed to make that first and second turn and gain a lot of time. You can actually gain over 1.5 tenths if you can just get the exit properly from the last corner. So let's see, he's currently maintaining the current delta. It's not really improving much. He's about a tenth down at the moment.
Ah, he runs a bit wide there. There's a car on track.
That cost him 3 tenths just by avoiding that incident. Ooh, he gets it all wrong.
All wrong. That's one of the trickiest
better.
corners of this track. It's such a fast left-hander, but that curb on the inside can throw you right off.
I'll tell you what, Basheer, with the McLaren, I actually did not have that problem at all. The thing about the McLaren on this track, it's got such a very sharp turn in. It's one of the best cars in my opinion to drive on this track. Where you stick it, it just bites and it goes. And it's, even though it's such a tricky corner to do, halfway through the corner you can put your foot down and it just sticks and it goes all the way through. I think the guys that will be using the McLaren today will have the advantage in terms of the corner entries and the exits as well. Unfortunately, we know that the balance of performance for the engine is going to be a little bit of an issue. But what I did notice was when I used a little bit less wing on my McLaren, the guys that were trying to catch me on the straights, I had a bit of an advantage even with them in my slipstream, so that helps a ton. So using more downforce with the McLaren, of course, it's going to help you even more in the corners. But what I've learned from previous races is that with the McLaren, it's a bit dead on the straights, and you're very vulnerable for being overtaken.
I'm on board with Kyle Swanepoel at the moment. He's about to start a lap. It's very close up top. 123.3, 123.4, and a 123.6.
The top 4 is
Mark
basically
Henry's just behind.
half a second.
The entire field is quite close up until P8 is just second and a bit.
So just for interest's sake, Basheer, what was your qualifying time?
I did it 22.7 if I'm not mistaken. Or 22.6 I think it was. Yeah, 22.6.
That was a very good time, yeah.
Yeah, and the Nissan struggled a bit with low fuel. Didn't really help the car much dropping the fuel load, so race pace to quali pace was quite similar.
I've noticed the same thing, but all in all I was about, I would say, a good 1.5 seconds off qualifying pace. If I compared myself with the top McLaren drivers like Les Oliphants, Jason Absmar, they were really hooking this McLaren up nicely for this track, and it was definitely the dominant car.
Kyle just missed out improving his time there, lost it all in the exit of the last corner. I'm gonna head over on board with Gert. Doesn't look like he's on a lap. Who else may be on a lap? Let's have a look.
Well, he has to do it now. There's only 1 minute left of the session, so let's see if Gert James can improve and hopefully stick it onto pole.
Let's see. Elric is in the Mercedes now. P6 at the moment. Doesn't look like he's gonna improve. He's about 2 tenths down. John McKay's just done 24.3, very good lap. Mike McGee on P8. He's 24.7. Jason doesn't look like he's gonna improve. Marius May is on a lap, he's 2.5 tenths up. Let's stick with him for a bit. I lost a bit of time in that corner.
In the meantime, Gert James is half a second down on his lap and he's on the penultimate corner now. If he can make this one stick, he should be able to gain. No, he messed it up. He just lost half a second.
Ah, unlucky Gert. Let's head back to Marius. I think that's it.
So provisional pole is now for Sean Guerrero. I don't think anybody will be able to overtake him, so that's pole for him.
Tian Swart is improving on his final lap, last few corners to go. Ah, he just runs a bit wide, he's still maintaining his time. Half a second. Ah, he lost a bit of running widely on exit, but he should still improve his lap time.
And the session is over.
The session's over, yeah. Riaan, we have to remember to remove our cars from the track once we go on. Is your car going back to pit? Oh, it'll only go once the timer is done, I suppose.
Correct.
Noobs!
Okay, so the order we have Lorero, we have on pole, we have James in second, Swanepoel in third. Let me just wait for a few more seconds so that I can see all the names properly. And then we'll do a quick rundown of the grid while the pace lap is on its way.
Yeah, I think that's best. Pace lap's about to begin. And we can head back to the pits.
Okay, so we have Lorero on pole, we have James in second place, Swanepoel in third, Anneberry in fourth, Laubscher in fifth, Enslin in sixth, McKay in seventh. In eighth place we've got Basheer. In ninth place we have Jason Holden-Jones. 10th place we have Meyer. 11th we have Main. 12th Avis, and in 13th place we have Ishmael. So, Jadwat, what do you think is going to be the best tire strategy for this race? If you look at the Division 1 race where you actually scored a very, very good position yourself.
It depends on the car and setup there. If you can make softs last for entire first stint and second stint, then you've got a distinct advantage. Some cars just can't keep those tires for the entire duration of a stint, so I would think that if you could go softs, you would have a much better chance against the guys going to have to go mediums.
But like you said, if you can make the softs last, because at the moment we have Lorero on the soft tire, we have James on the soft tire, we have McKay on the soft, sorry, Basheer on the soft, as well as Meyer on the soft, and the mediums we have Swanepoel, Anneberry, Laubscher, Enslin, McKay, Jason Holden-Jones as well.
We're at the last corner, the race is about to begin. He can speed up to race pace now. Sean's got a good start, just out of slow range, so I think Sean should be safe.
I think he made a very good start, yes.
Hairline's a bit wide. I'm on board with Hert, by the way. Yeah. Looks like he's struggling with the tires. He doesn't have enough heaters yet.
Looks like we have an overtaking here between McKay and Basheer. And Basheer made the move stick.
Jason Holden-Jones is going to try and take advantage. He does right down the outside. Wow.
Ooh, he runs a bit wide. Going to keep the place up.
You can see he's serious.
So the best idea is here is just to make this corkscrew as tight as possible. Be on the throttle very early so that you can stick with him. So this penultimate corner is a corner you can make up so much time if you hook it up perfectly. Let's see if you can sets up the move. Oh, and we have a car that just went into the barrier there.
Where about?
That was Insulin. So at the moment, Lorero is maintaining the lead by just under a second, but James is really putting the pressure on him.
Oh, there's a move between Henry's. Oh, Henry's lost it, he spun around.
Magear's made a move, and he just passed Lobsha for 4th place. Very nice move. Did James make some kind of a mistake because he's 3 seconds behind the leader?
Not sure. I was watching what you call out. You tell me who you're looking at and I'll switch to them. Ah, Mark is disconnected, so I think he probably had a bit too much damage there. Sean's just at the fastest lap, 24.4, nice lap time.
So we have a close battle between Kyle Swanepoel and James at the moment.
It's closing up quite nicely. Let's take a look at Kyle. See all of the road. Very nice.
Ooh, watch that
but
curve.
wide.
There's the curve.
That's
That can
sausage.
destroy your lap completely, yes.
I'm gonna head over to number 7, Maya. It's quite close behind. Okay. Oh, there's a ladder sign on the back of that Ferrari. Nice skipping.
I think we will soon be able to see a very good battle developing between 6, 7 and 8.
Correct. It's closed up quite nicely. And nice to see 3 different cars that have been there. Ferrari,
That's also
Lambo
true.
and Le Mans.
The Lambo doesn't seem to be a very popular choice in this division.
It's a very nice car to drive previous seasons. I think it's been moved afterwards. James just set the fastest lap, 23.7. That's a very nice lap time. Let's see if we can close up the gap.
We almost had a pass here from Insulin. If you can switch to Insulin, it's very close to. But it seems that that Nissan GTR just has much more straight line speed than this Merc.
It's a point and squad car than this one. It's got a lot of grunt. Not so agile in the corners, but in the stretch it's got some power.
Definitely.
So the closest battles on track are between Mayer, Jason Jones and McKay, and this one that we
Oh, we're gonna make a pass. We have Meyer that just passed McKay now.
Ah, up the hill, nice exit there.
Up the hill, yes. And just keep it in straight line and try and defend into the corkscrew, even though it's not a very good place to try and overtake. But I've seen it happen
What
before.
happened to Jason? Did Jason go off there? I think Jason
Oh, he did?
made a mistake. He's dropped down to 12.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So another gain by Insulin there over Main. Main has made a mistake, unfortunately. Lost another place to Avis.
So we have McKay very, very close now to the back of Meyer. Let's see if this Ferrari power can challenge this Lambo in front of him.
He's trying to get the slip, but that Lambo seems to
No,
have
there's
the
nothing.
legs on it.
He does.
at that learner sign there. There's a close battle between 10th and 11th. I'm going to switch to that.
Oh! That was a very, very, very close call, that.
Jason's
But,
going to try and
at
take
least-
advantage. Can he? Oh, why is this camera looking behind me? Jason's about to do his PB lap. Ah, here we go. Should have a bit of better
Bail.
exit there. He's going to have the inside line.
There we go. I think that
stand up the inside.
Avis gave him that position, not really defending much at all.
Now there's a battle up front. Just closes right up. 6 tenths, 7 tenths now to the front.
So you want to tell me that James was able to close 2.5 seconds within less than 2 laps? I wonder if Sean Larera didn't have a mistake somewhere.
Must have had to slack off. Maybe dropped a couple of tires in the dirt.
Especially turn 3 and 4.
There's a move. May Loksha's running, falling down a bit. He must have run wide. Ismail's made up a lot of places. I think he started.
He's actually running. He's running a very good race at the moment. Yes.
Nice to see the Audi out of it out. Let's switch to battle for 10th and 11th. Oh, Jason's just got him. Michael must have gone wide there. And now I'm going to switch to 8th and 9th. They're the closest. The Mercedes and the McLaren. Instant pressure option.
Let's keep an eye on this to see on the main straight. Ooh, runs wide. Yeah, I think he lost an opportunity to try and take him on this main straight. But
although he's
let's
close
see.
right up, he's close right
very
up
close
again.
to him now.
Should have a go on the inside. Let's see.
So Lopsha should
Lopsha
defend the
Oh, he
left.
doesn't
No,
defend. Oh, he outbreaks him.
doesn't defend.
He outbreaks him. No need to defend. Ismail's made up another place. McKay's probably made a mistake there.
Meanwhile, we have James only 3 tenths, 4 tenths
Let's switch to that battle.
behind Larera at the moment.
GTR against
So, yes, McLaren. It's the McLaren that Larera is in. It seems that even on the main straight, the GTR is not able to really catch the McLaren.
Herrera's probably got that car set up perfect.
Especially that rear wing is for extra straight line speed.
Oh, that's sausage cup.
A little bit of a slide there for James. Cost him a bit of time.
Instant just passed Ismail for 6th. So Instant making a comeback. Carl Swanepoel must be wanting these guys to start fighting. At least he should be able to close that gap down. Head on board with the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th actually. So there's a good spread of cars here, all fighting for the
Yes, definitely.
top 10.
At the moment we have Insulin that's 9.3 seconds behind Meyer, and there's a whole train developing behind him now with Ishmael, McKay, and Laubscher in 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Jason Holden Jones are not far behind. I think
he's not. He's actually catching. So
catch
we have Insulin holding up everybody behind him.
McKay's about to have a run. Oh, he's got him on the inside. That's
very nice. I think if he just keeps it to the left and hugs the inside corner, he should be able to maintain this position.
Nice.
There we go.
Well done. James is falling behind, but he comes back up to 1.5 seconds.
If I was James, I would try and maintain this gap a little bit just to save some tires for a few laps before the pit stop.
Contact, Shan.
Oh, we have someone off.
Ah, unlucky. Shan and Ismail, I think, would both be off there.
They came together, yes, and they unfortunately took each other out.
There, but he waited and let him pass. Good driving.
Very good indeed.
Now there's a pass between Insulin and McKay. Oh, Insulin's lost it.
Keep it out of the barriers. At least no damage for that. Mercedes. So that now promotes Jason Holden Jones into 7th place with only 2 seconds behind McKay. So the gaps are actually spreading quite a lot now. If you look at the 3rd place man, Swanepoel, 4.5 seconds behind James.
Oh.
We have McGear 10 seconds behind.
Big slide by Ismail.
And Meyer is 9 seconds behind McGear, and McKay is 11.6 seconds behind Meyer. So the closest battle we have at the moment is Jason Holden Jones behind McKay. 1.5 seconds.
Ismail and Laubscher, they're battling for 8th position.
Oh, there we go, yes.
Oh, he runs wide. Unlucky. Oh, both of them run wide. Insulin's going to take advantage and pass them both.
Very nice.
Gap between 1st and 2nd is hovering at about a second.
Yes. Let's see if
Nice exit by
can make a good exit.
Should have a good
oh,
run.
there we go. Very good
He's got a
exit.
good run on him.
Unfortunately, he will not be able to take advantage of the slipstream with Ishmael side by side with him. Ishmael should try and defend on the left. Get tight into the 1st or 2nd corner, and he defended that one
very well.
very nicely.
Stay on board with Insulin for this.
Let's see if he can try and put the pressure on Ishmael now, forcing him into a possible mistake.
He's right on his tail.
It looked like he was going off track, but he had a much better exit around turn 4.
I actually thought he was goes up the inside. This is going to be
very nice.
This corner. Oh!
That was a good decision,
Nice.
but Ishmael still gave him a lot of room to try and do that maneuver. But very good driving from both of these guys.
Very close. I see Jason's closing up to McKay.
Half a second, the gap between them.
Coming down a bit. Let's switch over to that battle. Ferrari versus the Mercedes.
That learner's sticker is something else, I'll tell you that. Brilliant.
Oh, with a lag. Nice exit, you should be closing up a bit. Seems like Jason's able to hold a bit of tighter lines. Maybe the tires in the Ferrari is wearing off a bit. Which tires is he on? Can you tell?
McKay is on the mediums as well as Jason, so I think yeah, it's possible that the Ferrari is not very maintaining its tires very well at this moment.
I see James has caught back up to Lorero. This battle, this gap is yo-yoing around a bit. Oh, Lorero's made a mistake there, so this should allow James to catch right up. Great drive up this one.
Yeah, it sure does. Oh, we have. I think Jason Holden-Jones is going to make the move, and he did.
He did up the inside. He just
Inside
caught
of
the
turn
tail
3.
of that move.
Try and
Can McKay come back?
no, I think Jason made this move stick.
Instant and Ismail are quite close together. Oh, Instant runs wide. Commentator's cross.
Well done, Bash.
My bad. See, James is still 3/10 down. This is good. Close. I think this is the closest it's been. McGear's
It's
in the
definitely
pits.
been the closest.
That's a very early pit stop.
So we have Lorero
Oh,
and James.
oh!
Oh, and there's contact,
Unlucky.
and James tapped the rear of Lorero, and Lorero spun into the gravel.
I think actually
And that's
Lorero lost
unfortunate.
the back end and James had nowhere to go from what I
Yes,
saw.
that's very possible.
Yeah, let's see if James. I don't think James is gonna wait, so I don't think he thinks that it's his fault. So
The only
unlucky.
problem with these cars as well is if you're following so closely and someone makes a small mistake, there's no time to actually try and avoid the accident. You just run straight into the back of it.
Lorero's wing is looking worse for wear there. I think he's got a slight bit of rear damage. Let's head on board with McGear's coming out the pits right behind him, so he rejoins the race in 10th place. It's a very early pit stop though. I wonder if he's trying an alternate strategy, maybe 2-stop or a long 1-stop or on a different set of tires. Which tires is he on now? Yeah.
Sorry, who's that?
Mike McGear.
Mike McGear is currently on the medium tires. No, the soft tires actually.
So I'm sure he'll have to put again, so he's definitely on a 2-stop strategy from what I can see.
Lap 16, definitely this 2-stop strategy.
I'm going to head on board with Ensslin and Ismail, very close together.
And he runs a little bit wide, but they didn't compromise his run too much. I think he's going to try and make it stick.
Outside. Now he'll do the switch. Oh, a little bit of a tap
back.
there.
Get back into his slipstream. I think this Audi might have this one.
Yeah, I think it's too far back. That tap there really cost him.
Definitely, yes.
Looks like they're both struggling on tires a bit.
They're both on the mediums. And he has a much better exit around turn 3. Let's see if he can make
Oh, he runs
turn
wide.
4 stick. He runs a bit wide.
I flashing his rights. You guys are fighting for position. He's not gonna move over.
Sure not.
So do you want to run through the positions, Riaan?
So on lap 17 we have James in the lead, followed by Swanepoel in second, 5 seconds. Then we have Loureiro in third place. He is actually 10 seconds behind Swanepoel, so there's quite a big gap between them. Then in fourth we have Meyer. He's 19 seconds adrift from Loureiro, and in fifth place we have Jason Holden-Jones, 11 seconds behind Meyer. That's your top 5.
And these guys are back at it. Ensslin and Ismail. Oh, Tapo! Oh,
And that's spinning around. Completely had a big incident between
Maguire.
Ensslin and Maguire.
Hopefully Maguire doesn't have too much of damage. Ah, he's got terrible windscreen damage. Ensslin.
I'm pretty sure his balance of his car will be compromised because of that smash. It was quite a hard smash from the side.
So unlucky. There was a close battle developing between Ismail and Ensslin. Unfortunately, Ensslin. Oh, what's happening?
Oh, we have Ensslin that just went off into the barrier as well, and he's probably going to call it quits.
Call it night, yeah. Unfortunate. Let's head on board with Mike Maguire. So James has got a 5.7 second lead over Carl Swanepoel in second. Sean Loureiro has recovered into third. There's a big gap between third and fourth, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, there's not going to be a battle between those two drivers very soon, unless there's some kind of a pit strategy that can try and close that gap down.
We're on the closest battle on track at the moment between Mike Maguire and Yassine Ismail. Oh, as we say that, Maguire runs wide. I think we should actually just shut up
again.
here.
Looks like Loureiro is trying to catch Swanepoel. The gap now only 8.8 seconds.
Yeah. And the top 3 were all on soft tires, yeah?
We have James on softs, we have Swanepoel on mediums, and Loureiro on softs, and Meyer on softs, and Holden-Jones we have on mediums.
Interesting. So it looks like the Mercedes can't use the softs. Unless they're going for a long first stint and then a short second stint on softs. So these two have closed right up again. Let's see. Someone's off there. Who was that? Audi, I think that's Avis. Yeah. Okay, Maguire's got a good drive out there. Will he have?
Ooh, we have Lampscher just went into the barriers again, clipping the inside curb of turn number 3.
Unlucky.
That could catch you out so quickly, and that could be your race over as well.
I think his race is over there. Too much of damage.
I think to be fair, the first accident he made unsettled the car so much that he just couldn't keep it on track anymore. So unfortunate for Lampscher to retire on lap 20.
maybe he'll continue going after the pit. Let's see. He should get good points, nevertheless, even if he continues now. There's a good... They're going down the inside. You have Mike McGear up the inside of Yasin. He's made it stick by the look. Oh, touching.
As we have Main heading into the pits now.
Gap between first and second is staying at around 6.5 seconds. Closest battle is still Ismail and McGear.
How many laps do you think the medium tires will be able to last?
Medium tires should go at least 50 laps. I was able to make them last. I pitted on lap 43 with my mediums and we're just about yellow. So
okay.
Yeah, they should last fine for the long majority of this race.
We have Meyer in the pits now, while Main came out of the pits on the mediums, and I think he's probably going to go to the end with these tires.
Should be able to make it.
Meyer out of the pits, and he fitted the mediums as well.
Yeah, so he should go to the end.
Ooh, there's going to be a close battle between Meyer and Ismail as he comes out of the pits now. Right behind Ismail.
I think that's Avis actually.
Ooh! And Avis, yes, it was Avis. He got it all wrong and he smashed into the concrete wall. Oh, he got it wrong again, and he smashed again into the tire barrier this time. Davis. You have to be so extra careful on the throttle when you have a little bit of dirt on your tires, and that's probably the reason why he was able to make the same mistake twice.
I see Lopsha's joined again. Good goal. Oh, he runs one.
Seems this Audi is really struggling for
I think his tires
grip
must
at the
be
moment.
giving up the ghost there.
He is on the soft tires.
So, fine balancing act with mid-rear cars to get the tires to last because the rear end is so heavy.
Definitely.
So, we don't have any close battles. Let's take a look at the leader. James, I think he's just put a move on the Lamborghini there.
Lorero about to lap Meyer.
On board with him now.
And he gets out of the way very nicely there.
Very nice driving. Let's take a look at Kyle for a couple of laps.
So the closest gap we have at the moment is first and second place. It's only 7 seconds. Quite a big gap still.
But it's maintaining at the same range, so these guys are doing very similar lap times. And
Surprisingly, yes, compared to
Kyle-
the softs and mediums.
Kyle is on mediums, as you said, so maybe he's going to be able to go longer. So hopefully we'll get a good battle at the end.
He's definitely maintaining this gap very, very nicely. He's actually gained half a second on that lap. It's James.
So what strategy did you run on Monday, Riaan?
Well, to be honest, I didn't have much time to practice to see what kind of strategy would be the best, so I just made sure that the setup was okay to manage the medium tires for 32 laps, and then I just pitted once and put the mediums back on and kept my head down and kept going, hoping for people to make mistakes. Qualified in 7th place and ended in 8th. So I wasn't actually expecting much more than that, but for myself, I think it was an okay result.
Had some good battles, I believe.
Definitely is. But it's only a matter of time when the guy that's behind you forces you into a little mistake, and that's the only thing that you need is to just run a little bit wide, and he will just shoot past you. So if you hold him up for 2-3 laps, eventually the inevitable will happen and he will get past you. So after that, in 8th place, the gap behind me was too big anyway to lose more positions. So it's just finishing the race and be happy with the points.
You did great.
So the gap now between Swanepoel and James is 6.3 seconds.
Closing up ever so slightly.
Yeah, I think this Mercedes is really managing its tires well. It's only 6 seconds now over the finish line.
the last lap he made up 7/10 on kart. So I think the tires on that Nissan are probably seen its best days gone by. It's coming up to half race distance, so he's just got to stick out for 4 more laps and he can pit to get a fresh set.
Definitely, yes.
This should be a good race to the end, I think, with the different tire strategy. Could make for them to be right on top of each other after the pit stops play out.
For sure, yes. But the question will be now, will Swanepoel pit for the mediums or for the soft tyres, and will he be able to make the soft tyres last half of the stint of the race?
I think if you're speaking about Carl Swanepoel there?
Yes.
I think he needs to go a bit longer than just half distance to make sure that they last. Oh, he runs a bit wide there. But he's still making up time, I think. I just lost a bit there. 3/10 though. So I think at this stage of the race, the mark on mediums seems to be a lot stronger than the Nissan.
Definitely.
That sausage curbs just come at you, eh? They have a magnet on them that just draws the cars to them.
Unfortunately, and as soon as you've realized that you've made the mistake, there's no backing out.
There's no backing out.
You have to just let go of the throttle, step on the brake a little bit and do a correction in order not to spin out, but it will eventually cost you about half a second.
Yeah, there's no way of escaping losing time. It's either going to be a spin or you're going to lose a lot of time, so rather take the loss of time.
Definitely.
On board with Sean Loureiro now, he's about to lap, who's that, Ismail? Clean move, I think.
Loureiro is actually losing a lot of time behind in 3rd place.
I think after that spin he must have some damage.
You mentioned his rear wing, and you can even see the damage on the left rear side of his car.
Ismail's in the pit on lap 30. That gap between James and Swanepoel is opening up again.
So for interest's sake, Basheer, would you say that a strategy of filling up your car with fuel and only stopping for tires instead of refueling is going to compromise your race more than doing the refueling as well? Or have you not yet had a race with that strategy before?
I don't think it's really worthwhile doing that because it takes less time to refuel a car from almost empty to full than it does to change a set of tires. So if you're going to change a set of tires, it's worthwhile just adding fuel as well and not having the burden of that extra load from the start. If you look at the time it takes to fuel up the car, it's a lot less than just changing the set of tires. So you're going to sit for that period of time in any case, so might as well fuel up.
So meanwhile, the gap between James and Swanepoel is still sitting at 7.2 seconds, and none of them have gone into the pits yet, but we should be approaching the pit window very soon for either of the two.
Boyd Bryson on the YouTube chat says that I should say how's it to you. Hey, to the guys on the YouTube chat, how you guys doing? We noobs at this, so please forgive us. James seems to have picked up his pace. He's back into the 24s. Kyle Swanepoel is running 25.3s. So it looks like James was just managing his tires a bit there. Sean Loureiro is in the pits for his pit stop, bang on half distance.
So let's see what tires he puts on. You can almost go and make a cup of coffee and come back by the time these guys are finished with their car in the pits.
I think it'll have to be an instant coffee or something like that. And you have to have a very quick kettle. And he's off. Not gonna lose any positions.
He puts the softs on.
And Jason Holden Jones also decides this is the time to pit. He's got Hankooks on that mark.
He's probably also going to go for the mediums.
The gaps come down in the front again. This gap is
And
really
James
seesawing
comes to
along. James in
Ooh,
the pit.
James, what are you doing? He spun it around in the pit.
Oh,
into
no.
The barrier.
Oh,
into
now
the
he's
back
got
as
some
well.
damage as well. Oh no.
He's got front and rear damage from that.
Let's
So
hope he
let's-
let's hope he selected repair. Otherwise his
And he
balance.
misses his pit box as
Ooh,
well.
it's all gone wrong.
It's just going wrong for him at the moment. Bad luck. So that
Carl-
will safely promote Swanepoel back into the lead.
Should safely
We'll see
promote.
what the gap
Yeah, I
is.
think it'll give him the lead for the first time this race. James is coming out. What tires is he on, Riaan?
James is on the softs again. So he's going to make this last till the end of the race, because he started with them as well.
Doesn't look like he's repaired the damage because I still see the dent in the back. Let's hope it doesn't affect the car's handling. And Loureiro has really gained on that. He's only 6.6 seconds behind James at the moment.
That was a big gain indeed, yes. As the back marker gets out of the way of Loureiro. Very nicely done.
So now the question is, when does Kyle pit?
Well, he's on the medium tire, so if he can stick it out for a few more laps, as we discussed earlier on, and he can put a fresh set of softs, I think by the end of the race, James will really have a very hard time to try and catch Swanepoel with those tires being worn out, having only a one-stop strategy with the softs. Do you by any chance know what the delta is for the pit stop?
I have no idea. Let me ask the guys in the YouTube chat. Guys, if you know, let us know what the average delta time is for a pit stop. I'm not mistaken, it's around 40 seconds. So it's still touch and go between the two of them.
So we have
And the gap's coming
Osman
down.
Valley. We have Osman Valley in the group chat asking if Gert would have been faster reversing into his pit box.
Don't be nasty.
I think so, probably.
Who's that going slow up the hill there?
He lost a lot of time smashing into the wall when he spun it around in the pits. That's very unfortunate for him.
Oh, who's that off track there? It's Michael Main.
So the gap is coming down slightly between James and Swanepoel at the moment. He's gained nearly 6/10 of a second on the last lap.
The gap between Sean Loureiro and Gert James is staying consistent as well. I don't know, to me that rear wing looks a bit damaged. How does it, is that how it looks when it's fine there, Riaan?
It looks pretty fine. It's symmetric.
Is it the skin that's got a line running across? Because to me it looks like it's a bit twisted.
To be honest, I haven't really looked at it that much before.
Because some angles it looks fine, and some angles it looks like it's a bit twisted to me.
Yeah, but you can see the
Gert James just done the fastest lap of the race, 1:23.6. So he's on it now after that spin. I think he's woken up a bit.
Definitely, the gap now of
35 seconds. So Kyle needs to either respond or he needs to get his pit stop out the way and maintain track position.
And he stays out another lap, doesn't come into the pits.
Let's see how his lap time compares. He needs to up his pace now. 25.0,
so I predict
that's 1.4 seconds.
It'll probably be about lap 40 that Kyle Swanepoel will come into the pits and do the last 24 laps on the softs.
On the softs, yeah. Well, let's see what Kyle's pace is on the soft tires.
Gap now 35 seconds between James and Swanepoel.
The closest fight at the moment, or not fight, but the closest gap is between Sean Loureiro and Gert in second and third. That's 7 odd seconds. 7.4 seconds.
And none of them have to stop again as well.
Gap between third and fourth has gone up a hell of a lot. There must have been mistakes made there. I think these tires on this mark are shot. He's losing about 1.3, 1.4 seconds to his best lap delta. It's gonna
have to come in the next lap or two.
Yeah, it's getting quite close there between him and Hart. Let's go on board with Yassine Ismail. He's gonna be lapped by Kyle Swanepoel shortly, just behind him. Oh, he runs wide. I think. Oh, he spins.
I think he tried to keep it off the track just to not be in the way.
Someone's coming.
Unfortunately, spun it in the gravel as well.
That was Jason Holden Jones. Passed him as well. On board with Marius Meyer now in the Lambo. A little bit wide at the corkscrew.
Gap now only 34 seconds between James and Swanepoel. I think Swanepoel will have to come in this lap to try and still, depending on the delta, but to still try to be in the lead, or most likely to challenge Harry James the last 10 laps for the win of the race.
Absolutely.
And here he comes into the pits.
Let's head on board.
Lap 40.
So let's head on board with Herr James and see how far behind or far ahead he gets in this whole sequence.
And Swanepoel misses his pit box. He had to reverse back into it, costing him about 2 seconds.
And Hersh is about to do his best lap of the race, so he's pushing as hard as he can.
Swanepoel is still stuck in the pits. James is coming up to the
James
final corner now.
Yeah.
He's definitely... Swanepoel is off now. Accelerating out.
This is going to be close.
Pit limiter.
I think...
And Gert's got him.
But it's a lot closer than it was before. It should be a good dash. Fastest lap of the race by Gert at the right time, so he was pushing.
I think that mistake.
Oh, and Kyle makes another mistake there.
To be honest, I think that mistake in the pits, where he had to reverse back into his pit stop, really compromised the possibility of him maintaining the lead. Because the gap now is only 3.6 seconds, and he also made a mistake with the pit exit going into the gravel there.
Unlucky.
Very unlucky, but let's see. I mean, the race is not over; it's far from over.
What tires is he on?
He's on the softs.
Oh,
sorry. He's on the no, wait. He's on the mediums again.
Oh.
That was definitely the wrong call.
Yeah, he should have gone to softs maybe. Take the fight too hard. But Gers has been pushing really hard, so I hope he's trying to maintain those tires as well. Push hard and you eat up your tires. So it's a fine compromise between the two. So let's hope we have a good battle at the end here. Let's see how the gap goes. First, second and third have all closed up quite nicely.
Oh, there's about
8 seconds
close to
between
10
them.
seconds between the top three. Quite a good recovery from Lorero as well.
Yep.
On his soft tires.
We're gonna have all three of the top three people on the main straight. Swanepoel was quicker than Gert on that past lap.
He was. I think he was held up a little bit by the back marker.
Little bit of a slide there. But again, Kyle is green on his delta. So these guys are pushing, these guys are hungry for it. Let's see who takes it.
Kyle just made a very big mistake, losing half a second over that curve, inside curve of corner 4. Made him run wide as well on the exit.
So he needs to get past this tail ender before the corkscrew, hopefully. He does so.
Michael Main makes way for Swanepoel quite nicely.
Well done. Jason Holden Jones has just done a 24/7, so he's finding pace in the muck. That off really cost Swanepoel because he lost what, 3/10 to Gert on that lap.
Indeed. But the gap is back down to 3.5 seconds now.
Still 20 laps to go, so there's more than enough time to mount a challenge. Well, making that.
He hits that inside curve again on exit of turn
Looks
4.
like it's got his name on it.
Yeah, it's definitely a magnet.
It's passing Avis, I think that is.
I see Sean Lorero drop back about 1.5 seconds behind Swanepoel now.
Must have made a mistake on this lap.
Well, the gap between third and fourth is almost a minute, so it's a very safe third position for Lorero at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah. Fortunately, the field's quite spread out. The gap's opened up to over 4 seconds now. It was over 4 seconds.
Let's just hope we can keep the car in a straight line out of turn 3 and 4. Stay away from the inside curve there.
He managed to avoid it.
There we go, and he's already up almost 2 tenths on his delta.
2 tenths. Oh, he lost a bit there.
Lots of time. I think he was stepping just a little bit too hard on the brakes before entering that corner.
He had a bit of a back end lock up there. Still, he's on par with his best lap delta, so. And the gap between the front two is coming down nicely, so this is looking good for Kyle.
It's looking very good. The only thing is the consistency has to be on par at the moment, because there's not a lot of laps left, and to try and make up the time you lose every time you run a little bit wide will set you back at least 2 laps. So he needs to just keep his head down and try and put in some consistent laps to try and close up to the back of James as soon as possible.
He just did his fastest lap on that last one, so I think he's on his way to finding that consistency now. Staying away from the sausage cup, so I think the lesson's learned.
Even though he lost a little bit of time, it's better than spinning your car around.
So the first two are in the same shot there. See the gap.
3.3 seconds. The gap now between first and second.
It's visibly coming down.
Very nice exit out of the corkscrew corner there.
2.5 tenths, almost 3 tenths up at that point. 2 tenths still.
Very nice. That was a very good lap of Kyle Swanepoel.
This is getting exciting now. It's building up to be a good fight. Sean Loureiro has unfortunately dropped quite far back.
24-0 for Sean.
Nice. That's his best lap so far. And he's going green again. Can he dip into the 23s? Under 3 seconds now. It's coming down consistently. I wonder if Gert is trying to save some tires for a fight.
Looking at the delta times of Gert James, we can see that he lost almost a second to his best delta time on this lap alone, and the gap now only 2.9 seconds between himself and Kyle Swanepoel. As he runs very, very wide, but still maintains the delta quite well on the first, on the second corner there.
Yeah. Oh, mistake by Carl.
Oh, he runs it wide. Loses 6/10 of a second nearly there on the penultimate corner's exit. So the gap would have been only 2.4 seconds if it wasn't for that mistake.
Yep. But it happens when you're giving it 10/10 all the time, so he just needs to calm down and keep going.
Well, meantime, it seems like James is picking up his pace a little bit.
Let's go on board with James. Oh, both of them ran wide at the infamous turn 4.
Infamous turn 4. Definitely cost him 4/10 of a second alone. Well, Kyla's definitely on a much better lap this time around.
Gert is doing everything in his power to maintain the gap.
Must just be very careful not to wear out those soft tires now.
Yep, and you know that that Nissan's a big girl, so she's quite heavy on tires.
That's true. Gap now 2.7 seconds.
Picked up 4/10 of a second there. Oh, Avis runs off the track to give them a gap there. Well done for not getting involved in the fight.
Definitely taking out the brake markers with him as well.
Oh!
That's going to be interesting for the people not used to the brake markers when they see that it's no longer there. Swanepoel just lost a whole second on this lap alone. 1.2 seconds nearly.
Both of them actually 1.2 down then on the delta. Gert is on a lap at the moment. He was almost 2/10 up, but he lost it on that exit out there.
Sean Loureiro, I think, had some problem earlier on. He's 17 seconds behind Swanepoel now.
I wonder what happened there.
That's quite a big margin. That's at least 16 seconds he lost.
He had to have had an
10
off there.
seconds he lost. Yeah, definitely.
Fourth is Jason Holden Jones. It's quite a big gap above and a big gap behind, so I think he's quite comfortable in his position. Mike McGear's in 5th. Quite a decent margin over Marius Meyer behind him. Then we have Michael Main in 7th. Shan Lobshaw in 8th in the McLaren. And Wyatt Davis rounding up the field in 9th.
Sean Loureiro just forced Avis now to put a lap on him, and Avis ran it wide and smashed into the barrier.
Oh, unlucky for him. The gap's back down to under 3 seconds now to the lead. Oh, Kyle runs wide there.
So it seems James is maintaining his lead purely on consistency, as we see quite a few mistakes from Swanepoel that could have made him much closer to the back of James to try and challenge him for the lead, with only 11 laps to go. We have a request from the commentary box here, asking if we can have some cockpit views from both the top two drivers to see what kind of lines they're using and what the differences are in driving style.
Absolutely, we can do that. We'll do a lap with Kyle and then switch over to James. Oh, a bit wide there. Oh, that sausage curb takes him wide again. Let's switch over to Gert for the lap.
So the gap came down again, 2.4 seconds between Swanepoel and James. 2.2 seconds now.
See, Gert is just running into the limiter on the main straight. Oh, we're just under 2 seconds, and now it's on. The fight is well and truly on now. .6.
Seems like the soft tires of James is really starting to drop off now, and Carl Swanepoel has the advantage on these medium tires.
Yep. And he seems to be able to maintain a much more consistent pace. It's one thing catching though, it's another thing finding a way past. This should be interesting.
Oh, definitely.
Both of these guys are quite experienced. Oh, he runs wide again. That corner...
Lost him a whole 10th of a second. The pressure, unfortunately, is on now, and this kind of a thing, it's a mental thing you have to cope with to try and keep it on the track as it goes wide again. Because as soon as you can see the rear of someone and you're getting so close, it just
you have to have a bit of patience there, yeah.
Definitely, because you just get sucked into the gravel all the time.
He's running out of time now, though. We've got six laps to go, I think. So can he close in again, and can he mount a charge? Gert has upped the pace again, back into the low 24s. I think he's just managing his tires.
So 5 laps to go, 1.5 seconds between James and Swanepoel. With the kind of pace that James has in comparison with Kyle, I'm really surprised that Swanepoel is still catching James.
James made a mistake there.
Big mistake.
And now it's under a second. Oh, it's gonna go down to the wire. Half a second now. Here we go, guys. Oh, that was a really poor lap from Gert there.
And we also have back markers coming up that can come into play here for the lead.
Grab your popcorn, guys. Now it's gonna get wild.
We have 4 laps remaining. We have Carl Swanepoel closer than ever. Half a second if he could just get these few corners right.
Ah, he's got a good exit there.
There we go, very nice. I think his safest bet will be to try and do the penultimate corner and the last corner as safe as possible and as quick as possible to try and take him on the straight. But we'll see.
This is going to be interesting because these cars are very evenly matched in straight line performance.
They are.
So,
but it seems like the Mercedes has a little bit better acceleration and top speed. As there's a big mistake. And Carl Swanepoel very aggressive over the corkscrew there. Hard defending from James as Kyle Swanepoel tries to seek it
inside, outside,
but James closes it off immediately. Gap now under 0.5 of a second. But it doesn't seem like the Mercedes has the legs to catch James on the main straight at all.
He's all over the back of him.
Now this situation, of course, for James is really not pleasant to be in. He has to keep his eyes on his mirrors the whole time to see where Kyle Swanepoel was trying to make his move and to try and cut him off, which compromises his lap time as well.
Absolutely, he has to take defensive lines and corners where he would be attacking.
Very nice exit there from Swanepoel into the last corner. Gap still under half a second.
They take quite different lines to turn to there.
They do. Swanepoel has a much tighter line around turn 2.
It's right on his tail now.
What Kyle needs to do, he needs to keep his car a bit more to the right so that he has a much better turn in into that corner so that he can gain much more speed out of the exit to try and catch him up this hill. But unfortunately, he's following the same line as James, which is not going to allow him to have the speed for a potential overtake. Oh, don't run wide. Two more laps to go.
Gaps opened up to over second. So, is he gonna have one last chance at this? And does he have the tires left to do something about it?
as James comes around the last corner to start the final lap of the race.
A lot of
Fight
traffic
still
ahead.
pretty much on. I think the traffic ahead is just a little bit too far to come into play for the battle of the lead between Carlo and James.
Let's hope they stay away, yeah. Oh, who's that? That was Shan Lobshaw. I think it's gonna have to be a do or die move now if one's gonna come. It's a bit too far behind.
And the back markers are now right in the way, and they keep out of the racing line. Very nicely done.
Nice, well done. Oh, he's got a good exit there.
Very good exit as James tries to make it around the
Oh,
final
on the
corner.
grass. Oh, tough, they tap.
And it's going to be a very close
Oh,
race between the two of them. But I think
Cat just has it, just a fireball here.
Fireball.
Well done, guys. Good racing. That was
really
fun. Well done, you two.
Very close race.
Sean Loreto should finish in third.
So our race winner, Ger James, for Synergy Godzilla Racing. Very good job winning the race. Al Swanepoel in second place for Wake, Sim Racing Gold.
And then we have
Sean
Jason.
Sean Loureiro in third place for Simtech Racing. Jason Holden Jones for HJ Sports and fourth place. Mike McGear for M2 Racing in fifth. We have Marius Meyer for Haven Racing in sixth place. And we have Michael Main in seventh, Sean Laubscher in eighth place for Wakes and Racing Silver. And the last position will go to Wyatt Avis in ninth place.
And that's it for tonight, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Basheer.
Thanks, Riaan. It was awesome. Good fun.
So we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Cheerio.